Wall Street winners. It is Thursday, March the 7th, pre-market open. And what we're seeing today as we look at where things are, we saw a bit of a lift yesterday, not very much for the most part. Crude did very well yesterday, although it's off 30 cents this morning, leading into market open. It's about 8 minutes to 8 a.m. Eastern time right now. NASDAQ futures are up, and it looks like the NASDAQ may make a bit of a comeback today, looking at some of the individual names. Crude is down, as I just mentioned, but I think it's likely to pop back. There's a lot of talk about oil production in the US and the challenges that are occurring in the Red Sea due to the different shipping attacks and then the costs associated with diverting ships down through other channels to get to their final destination. We also heard yesterday from Chairman Fed Powell testifying in front of the Senate or Congress in DC that interest rates are likely to remain where they are for the foreseeable future because we don't have inflation down to the 2% limit that they have that they're trying to get to. We also saw yesterday on Wednesday from the Bank of Canada that they held interest rates at 5%. So they're not making any moves right now. They're still going to wait and see what unfolds. Obviously looking for that ultimate soft landing that everyone has been talking about. So as we scroll down through health and retail, not a great deal going on here or a great deal of activity. Not an area I'm paying much attention to. The same is true for transport right now. But if we get into oil, we did see some nice comebacks yesterday, or we saw some gains at different times. At the end of the day, we basically came back to even in a lot of cases. The one stock that has been going crazy is Consolidated Edison, or ED, up to and past $90 yesterday, particularly at open, where I think just after open or around short of 10 a.m., it hit its high for the day in the 1926, 90.26. So about $90 and a quarter there was its high. I would stay out of this one now. I think it's going to consolidate at some point. It's got to probably come back down, but then could jump back up as well. So I'm staying out of that, but it was a good opportunity to take some profits in that if you did get in when it was down to the high 85s in the last week or so. Some of the others that are moving, I mean, as you know, I'm a fan of Valero. I'm staying out of it right now. I think it's a little too pricey. I will buy in if there's a bit of a pullback, but I'm just watching that right now. Exxon is moving up nicely, so it's been kind of in the 101 to 103 range for quite a while, and now we're almost at 107. So we're seeing it start to move a little bit. CVE is still doing well. Yesterday up 31 cents, so it's now in the 24 range. I think it still has more room to go there. We've seen Marathon Oil make a bit of a comeback. It was in the, let's call it $19 to $22 range for quite a while. It's now up at 24 and a half. It's not one that I would be purchasing, but if I owned it, I would probably be holding it at this point. SLB made it up to 50, really above 50. And this was a stock that was down in the 47 range just a week or two ago. So this was a great purchase, and I would be looking to maybe exit that position once it got to 50.50 or 50 and a half, $50.50. And then as we go down, again, you can see crude has been down more, but it's down 29 cents now. I think this is going to come back. I think it's going to get up around 80. And if it does, I think you're going to see some movement upward in the different oil stocks. We've had a bit of let's call it a downturn in some of the tech stocks over the last couple of days when the NASDAQ hasn't done as well as it has been doing overall. There are definitely still strong sectors. Semiconductors are super strong and continue to be. I think what we're going to see here is we're going to see an opportunity for PANW, which is Palo Alto, to probably get up into the 300 range again. I think it's going going to bounce back a little bit today, and I think it might do the same into tomorrow. We've got Cloudflare hovering in the low hundreds, the high 90 range. I think this is, again, an attractive kind of long-term purchase, but it's going to probably only bounce around $2 to $3, which is 2 to 3%. So if you can get in at an attractive price, just watching what that stock movement does and seeing how that correlates to the overall NASDAQ and other stocks in its category, then you'll find a good time, and there's probably an opportunity there to make a little bit of short-term profit. Others here, I do like Microsoft at 402. It's a very strong company. It's got a great deal of cash flow generation, strong financials, obviously a great base of customers, and growing market share in a variety of areas tied to OpenAI. From a kind of a chat GPT and AI perspective, I think it has a lot of potential. If it drops into the 390s or 380s, I would definitely be picking some of that up, but the low 400s could be a good partial entry point. ARM is up $3 pre-market. Really, as you know, at this point, it means nothing when we go into the open, but this is a stock that does have a great deal of volatility. And as you can see from the chart yesterday, if you did hold out and buy this on the dip around 10 o'clock, you would have done pretty well and made a tidy $2 to $3 or maybe 1 to 2% gain in that stock. Others that we are looking at, Workday, I think it's been beaten up a little bit lately, and I think it is set for a bit of a reversal. Again, I'd buy into that slowly and wait for it to come back. If you are in a position to hold it for 3 to 6 months, I think it's at a very attractive price right now. It's got some great fundamentals behind it, and I think it's a solid purchase. I'd stay away from Tesla. It's got nothing but bad news associated with it these days. I do think it's a great long-term purchase, but I think it's going to come down even more than it is right now at the 176 level. Alibaba has been bouncing around there in the $70 to $76 range. If it gets down into the lower 70s, so closer to 70 or even 69, 68, I definitely look at picking some of that up if you're into a long-term hold, or if you're interested in options. I think a long-term, maybe January or June of 2025 option call on that at $85 is a good bet. NVIDIA is the roller coaster that just never comes down. So you've got it up $15 pre-market. Again, if you see that this thing comes down in price, it may be an opportunistic time to purchase and then just wait for it to correct and go back in the other direction, and you can offload those shares. I think Google right now is on sale at $32.56. I think it's a steal. It's only going to go up in the long term. It may be down in the short term here, but it's definitely on its way back up if you're holding this for even 3 months. And then if we move down into financials, I've been active in SoFi recently. I think it's a very attractive, the SOFI, very attractive in the $7 range. If you can get this at or around its current price point, I think this has a lot of potential to gain 25 to 50% in this current calendar year. So by the end of 2024, I think if you were to put some money into SoFi, I think you'll be happy with the outcome of that. Some of the other ones, the other financials, I'm holding off on. If I were to short a stock right now, it would be Raymond James Financial. I think it's overpriced at 121. I think it'll come back down into the low 100s. Visa is kind of peaking out, in my opinion. I'd hold off on that. JP Morgan continues to go up, but there's still a lot of talk about what's going on with New York City Bank Corp and the billion of equity that was raised for that yesterday, the changes to the board. That's potentially going to impact other regional banks as well. So I'm waiting to see what unfolds this month and next in the financials before making any decisions there. So that's where we are today on March 7th. Good luck with your trading today.